Welcome, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. If I have not had the pleasure of having you in my class before, I'm Dr. Harris, and I like to do virtual class hangouts a couple of times in the semester for extra credit, simply so we can have the opportunity to look at each other, for you guys to look at me, so that we can all know that we're real people. I'm not like a teacher bot in your screen, and you guys are not student bots. So, and to have the chance to also talk about any issues that you have going on with the class. I have on my screen a gallery view, which you'll be able to see when you look at the recording. So I literally see all of you at the same time. So if you see me looking around the screen, that's what I'm looking at. So my first question is always the same, and that's, how are things going? Don't be shy. How are things going?
It's fine. But with me, I'm taking 2 communication classes.
Okay, you're slowing down for a bit.
Your class, mine is okay. I don't know what's going on here.
You can use the chat feature, and I can do the chat as well.
Okay, I just happened to I read the wrong chapter. I read chapter 3, but it's just on chapter 4. I'm taking 2 communication classes.
So it's not work. Hold on. So I need you to. I'm gonna need you to send me a chat because I can see you, but it's really slow. No, I'm gonna need you to send me a chat or an email. Okay. Sorry, it's coming. It's such a delay. Yes. Go ahead and type it, and then once I see the chat pop up, I can go ahead and address you. What about everyone else? Hamna? Hamna, am I saying that correctly?
Yes, it's Hamna. So far, the class has been very interesting to me. I've been reading the material. I have been struggling a little with the quizzes and like how there's like a 10-minute like time limit, and I try to make sure I'm viewing the PowerPoints and then reading through the chapters. But it's like when I'm taking the quiz, I'm just like, oh my god, like. But so far it's been good. Like the last 3 quizzes that we've taken.
Okay. So Hamna, I'm glad you brought that up so I can go on the record because I knew it was gonna come. I actually increased the time for quizzes, which you probably won't believe, but you guys have roughly 2 minutes per question, which is very, very gracious, right? And I looked at the statistics, and even when I was grading the quiz, this most recent quiz, students who are making 12 out of 12, they're doing the quiz in like 3 minutes to 4 minutes, not even taking anywhere near the complete time. And the idea is that when you know this stuff, you should know the stuff. And I do know that some people are anxious test takers. I completely understand and empathize with that. And we have people, there's a way that you can go through disability services and get accommodations to extend your time if it is to the point where it just kind of gets you like, I need more time. And I completely understand that. But the idea is that you're coming to the time quiz prepared. So if anyone has been doing well on quizzes, feel free to chime in and share your study habits. But unless it's cheating, do not share that on camera. But I do know that in the past, whenever I have asked students about their study habits, what they say is that they print the PowerPoint slides out first. And as they read, they kind of also annotate and do things like that, and then kind of revisit to make sure they have key concepts and things that they need right there in front of them, and they show up to the test prepared with their notes and having done both parts of the process. Right. Does anyone I hope maybe one person has been doing well on quizzes, not to single you out. If you don't want to share, you don't have to.
Is mine working out right now? It's not. It's still delayed.
It's real slow.
Okay.
So with the weekly quiz, but I did get your chat about reading chapter 3 instead of chapter 4. And someone saying that there wasn't a quiz 3. That was another thing to bring up, is that you guys, we're not going in order of the textbook. So hopefully you caught that. If you have not. I apologize. Well, I don't want to apologize because it's not my fault, but I will tell you that on your syllabus, it's outlined that we're kind of hopping around a bit in the order that makes sense. And so last week, for example, was week 3, but we did chapter 4 quiz because you were assigned to read chapter 4. But when you go into the current week folder, it should have had the chapter 4 PowerPoint slide. All of my announcements and things should have said chapter 4. So if you're just kind of like, just going in chronological order, that's not what we're doing. So hopefully you're paying attention to that course schedule because it has the order that we're doing. Chapter 3 isn't until after chapter 6, which is like a couple of weeks. So that's one thing to pay attention to as well, is making sure that you're looking at the calendar and reading what you're supposed to be reading, and then going in to take the quiz that you're supposed to be taking, which one quiz should be open every single week. Most weeks, not every single week, but most weeks. And it will say under our assignments, chapter whatever quiz, and that means that it'll be open from Monday to Sunday. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. And also know that I will be dropping 2 of your lowest quiz grades. So if you did make a mistake, like taking the wrong quiz or reading the wrong chapter one time or so during the semester, that's fine. It should not count against you that unless you do it like 3 times in a row. But 2 of your quiz grades will be dropped. What else?
Could you explain the scholarly, the assignment that's due on October 6th, the scholarly article discussion?
Sure, we're going to get into our upcoming assignments in just a minute, but I wanted to make sure that we got everything so far out of the way. Is everybody good with everything else before we preview?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so in this class we have two short papers. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry that happened to you. She says that she's taking 2 classes and got the syllabi mixed up. So in this class we have 1 long paper, and then you have 2 shorter papers. I call them short papers. Some students call them average papers. Who knows? They should be around 4 pages, 3 to 4 pages, I think is what I put. But the goal of both of the short papers, the scholarly article discussion and the concepts discussion, is that what I'm looking for is that you can apply the key concepts that we're learning about in this class to something outside of the class. Very simple. So in other words, like I'm sitting here with my son. Well, that's not a good example. For the first one, it's not a good example because it's a scholarly article. But if I was sitting here with a friend or a colleague and I read a scholarly article and I wanted to explain to them, hey, you know what? I read this article. It was talking about A, B, and C, blah, 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 colorism in higher education. And then now I'm making sense of it because I'm also learning in this class 3313 about colorism, socialization in primary institutions, yada, 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 and so on. And so it's really like you're having a conversation where, of course, you're going to tell me what were the important parts in the article that stuck out to you. And then the second part with the discussion is where you're going to then tie it into what you've been learning so far. So you should have in your works cited for that page, obviously the article that you selected, and then also the textbook, just to start with. And then anything else you want to bring in. But those should be 2 primary things that you cite in that paper, and you should be referring to both of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm looking around, trying to look at everyone's faces.
And you said that this Zoom would be available for us to rewatch again, correct?
Yes, I'm recording. Am I recording? Yes. I got a notification, and I will post it up on Blackboard when we're done. And is it required to use lib search? You don't have to use lib search. It's the easiest way to get a peer-reviewed scholarly article. Hopefully, I want you guys to pay attention to that as well, because every time I teach this class, I usually get 1 or 2 students who get the papers mixed up. So the first one is a scholarly article that's peer-reviewed academic scholarship. It's not a newspaper article. It's not a Wikipedia or online encyclopedia entry. It's not like a book review or something like that. It's going to be a peer-reviewed academic article, full length. And so you're going to read related to anything that we're learning about in class. So you're going to read that and then do a discussion. For the second assignment, which makes sense because around that time we'll be talking about mass media, you're going to do a media artifact for a current events discussion. So it can be a podcast or a news clip or something that you saw on social media. With that one, you're going to have a little bit, you're going to now take your criticism to something that's in popular culture. Does that make sense? But that's the second one. That's not the first one that's due. And like I said, it'll make more sense because around that time, we'll be reading about popular culture, interracial communication in society, and mass media a little bit more in depth than what you have so far. Any other questions? No?
Not at the moment.
Everyone is good to go on that explanation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we talked about quizzes. And I'll also, about the quizzes, I'll create an open forum and I'll share it with the class so that it's a thread in the open forum so that if anyone has any study tips that they can share, hopefully they'll be gracious enough to share them with you guys in the open forum. But what I gave to you is what typically students say. And I promise you, when you know this stuff, students are taking them in like 2 minutes. So just keep that in mind. And they're only like five questions, and they're only on that one chapter. So there's no need, this kind of just like a check-in, right? Just to, hey, like a pop quiz, if we were doing this face-to-face and you guys came in before we really, got into it, or after we reviewed the lecture, then say, hey, pop quiz, I ask you 5 questions at the start of class and you just take it really quick. That's kind of what this is. It's not meant to be like a burdensome thing. And then the 2 short paper assignments. And then lastly, you have your media analysis, critical media analysis. Has anyone previewed that assignment?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. No. All right. So basically what you guys are going to do is you're going to watch a film that's included on your syllabus. You can pick one of I think it's 6 films. So we have like romantic comedy, sports drama, sports romantic, something like that, a whole bunch of different genres depending on what you're into. And when you watch it, you're going to apply one theory that we will be reading about in the next few weeks to one scene or a storyline in one of those films. Yeah. So in a very similar vein to what I just explained for the 2 short papers, but with this particular assignment, we're going to go way more in depth with the theory. So we can stop right there. We don't have to go into that anymore until after you do chapter 6, which we'll spend 2 weeks in chapter 6 learning about theory. But I encourage you guys to look at the list of the films that you can select. I believe something new is on Netflix. One of them was just on TV, and I was like, man, I should watch it again. But give you several times. I always encourage you to watch it one time just to watch it, even if it's something you've seen before. Like I have White Men Can't Jump on that list, which was from the 90s. And people are like, oh, I've seen that. But you can't just write a paper based on something you saw over a decade ago, right? So watch it one more time just to familiarize yourself. And then watch it again with pen and paper in your hand so that you might want to watch it 3 times. So that now you're taking notes. You're getting characters' names. You're picking up on anything that sticks out to you. You're able to like look at your notes with your theories and see what kind of connects as you're watching the film, because this is a scholarly endeavor. I just found out I have a Black Panther paper that's under review. Under review, and they've conditionally accepted it. So like, you guys have no idea how many times I watch Black Panther. Crazy. Like pause, like what did he say? What did he say? And I just had to keep pausing and going and pausing and going and watching it again and again and taking notes because I knew I was doing it for an academic paper. So just keep that in mind.
And so there's also a detailed outline that we do beforehand for the paper.
Yes, and I just downloaded. I just got an example downloaded for you guys that I need to upload. I wanted to check in with our program coordinator because you guys need an outline for your portfolio, I believe it is. And I wanted to make sure that I knew what they were asking for on the department level as well. So once I get some clarity around that, it will be up very, very soon.
Okay.
And I'll send an announcement.
Okay.
Oh.
Any other questions? Open mic Q&A. Is anything hard? Is this stuff making sense to you guys? Are you fighting with your colleagues yet?
I'm having a thing with the cover page. I don't get it.
The cover page
Yeah.
on APA style?
Yeah. Like, is that something that is in with the assignment, or because I'm just reading the says abstracts and references? It's just for that.
What are you reading?
From the critical media analysis.
Okay. Yes, so a cover page is needed, and there should be an example APA format paper already uploaded for you guys in Blackboard.
Oh, okay.
So that's just a part of the style format that is required. I make you guys do it because they make me do it.
That's fine.
Any other questions? Everyone's understanding everything okay?
Yes.
Difference between racism and prejudice.
Are we going to have
Privilege.
another Zoom meeting like this before any of the assignments are due?
Yes, so I try to have them before major assignments and at minimum at least twice a semester. Ideally, we will do this 3 times. So we'll do this also before your outline and then before your final version is due. But that's in an ideal world. So don't hold me to it. That's why it's extra credit for you guys. And it's hopefully I'm getting extra credit for doing this as a professor, but we will see. That is the plan as of now. So we're in week 4 now. So the idea is to do it around week 4 and then like around week 8 and then right at the end. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. You had a question, Tracy?
Yeah. I don't. You may have answered this question already. I'm actually in China, so I came in really, really late. So is this being recorded so that I can? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It will be available as soon as it does this thing and uploads to YouTube. It has to process for a little while, so probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? You guys want to talk about nothing?
I got a question.
Okay. No?
As far as due dates, or is that just when the week ends?
Okay, say it one more time.
The dates that are on the syllabus, is that when everything is due, or is that just to mark the end of the week?
So it's kind of both. And I think I have that up at the top where most assignments are going to be due on that Sunday at 11:59. The exception is going to be with your discussion forums. You should be responding by Thursday and then responding to your classmates by Sunday.
That's where I got confused.
So
Okay.
everything else, the quizzes are Monday through Sunday. If it says there's a written assignment, it's going to be due Sunday by 11:59. Everything else is due on Sunday, except for your discussion should be posted a little bit earlier in the week so that we can all read them and respond.
Okay. That's where I got.
Ivan, is that your sister or friend who's joining us in class? Someone's joining us. Oh, hi. Welcome.
She's actually,
Hello, how you doing?
I'm actually a TCOM major also.
Oh, switch over to the dark side. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're going to hop back outside to finish blowing around grass before the sun goes down. And I'm going to let this video process while I'm doing that. And I will have it up for you, worst case scenario tomorrow, if I'm feeling energized tonight.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you all so much. And if you called in or if you didn't use your name, please send me an email and let me know that you were on the call so that I can give you your extra credit.
Okay, thank you.
One more question.
So
thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wait, did